I've mentioned before that when people look at an electronic screen for long periods of time, they can become tired easily. Another thing to keep in mind is that your learners could be taking the class in their work or home environment. They're going to be surrounded by all kinds of possible distractions. I'd like to give you 10 ways to keep your groups more engaged. Tip number 1, clearly show your class the course objectives so they know what to expect and what they will accomplish during the session. Tip number 2, express a strong benefit statement which explains how your class will gain something from the training. Tip number 3, use your learners' names often, especially if you don't hear from some of them during the class. Tip number 4, create a sense of community. Share the class list, or at least keep it showing throughout the class. You want to work in teams often and use inclusive words like we and us instead of I. Tip number 5, engage as many senses as you can by using your voice, using video, using images, using color, and of course using hands-on activities. Tip number 6, don't be afraid of silence. Those moments will give you time to think and give your learners a chance to process what they are learning from you. Tip number 7, it's difficult in the virtual environment, but you need to listen actively to your learners' comments and questions so that you can address them properly. This also includes keeping your eyes on the chat window for any questions that might pop up during the class. Tip number 8, provide clear and simple instructions for your activities. You can't afford wasting time helping people figure out what to do. Tip number 9, you want to build fun activities into your training session. Adults learn better when they're having fun. And finally, tip number 10, in the virtual classroom, make the learners do something different every 3 to 5 minutes. In other words, have your class use a variety of your online tools consistently throughout the training. I promise you, if you follow these tips, your training will be just as interactive, if not more interactive, than a traditional classroom training.